Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be looking at something I sort of dropped off of, but still consider myself a fan of the franchise and not necessarily the game. This is Saber Katsushika Hokusai from Fate Grand Order. A game that I gave up on over a year ago now, and I used to be really into Fate and FGO, but eventually my love of the franchise didn't overcome my hate of the actual game, because the game is just, it's the most bare bones, like, money gouging phone game. It's not even fun to play. It was just annoying. But I've moved on from that, but I still like the franchise, and a lot of the elements of it are really cool, and a lot of the characters from FGO are still really cool, which is also why I picked up this figure, because even though she's only from the game, I still like them. It's Hokusai, it's really cool. Every Hokusai figure is pretty damn amazing. I only have this one and the Noodle Stopper, but the second Ascension one was pretty cool as well. There's a bunch of lore and craziness about Hokusai, why the legendary painter is this girl, or more accurately, why the legendary painter is the octopus that's with this girl. But anyway, it's Hokusai. This is the Saber Summer version, where they're a Saber class and they have a bikini, and it just looks cool. I don't know what else to say about it. Let's just get right into it. Here's the window for the figure. There's some promo art as well as the name and everything like that. There's an official Type Moon product sticker. There's the Good Smile logo in the corner. There's a promo image of what the figure will look like, which you hopefully can see why I grabbed it, because these colors are just incredible. On the back, there's a bunch of promo images, as well as all the legal info, as well as a much nicer promo image. But yeah, it just looks fantastic. I hope it looks as good in person. So let's crack her open. After what can only be described as a nightmare assembly, Hokusai is complete. Now, there aren't a lot of pieces, but the pieces that are put together are very fragile and or very awkward. So pretty much this entire section of like the katanas and sash and everything like that, that's all one piece. A lot of it is soft rubber, or like a soft plastic, that lets you sort of bend and push it around a lot and things like that. But you don't really want to do that because it feels like it's going to break. And I did not enjoy doing it. I want to take it apart at some point and things like that to get everything to fit better, because I couldn't get the octopus to fit just right because there's two connection points and I could only get it to fit on one properly. But the fitting this onto the legs was really annoying, especially since you need to attach this part separately, and this obby bit is actually part of the giant bit, so you need to slide it in while already attaching the other part to the leg, and all of it's really fragile and all of it feels like it's going to break, and it's really annoying. But at the end of all of that, this figure looks really freaking good. I might have given up on Fate, but I haven't given up on Hokusai. This is a really good looking figure. The sculpt is incredible. The paint is incredible. I love it. It's so cool. It's an absolute pain to put together, but damn, it looks good. So we'll first start off with sculpt, and my goodness, the amount of stuff going on in this figure is just insane. So starting off with her head, very unique head sculpt, just because that's how Hokusai looks in Fate. And there's a little bit of white on her hair. I hope I can get that out later. But anyway, looks really good. Unique head sculpt. There's just all these little like plumes going everywhere. Looks so cool. She's also quite heavy, as expected. She's got goggles, as sort of like a headband. She's got all these plumes everywhere, as well as hair tied up in a ball in the back, which is really cool. And the hair's just really well sculpted. It's that right blend between proper detail and doesn't look too much like just a mess of like spaghetti. So that's cool. We've got detailed bracelets. There's all different designs on each arm, which is really cool. The hair strands are really well detailed and go pretty down far. Those are separate pieces, and relatively easy to put together, actually. There's also this little bulb in the hair, and it's a bit interesting. I didn't want to break it, but there is a metal peg, so thankfully it should be okay. The bikini is well sculpted, and pretty much like the simplest part on this entire figure. The start of the obi is really cool, especially since it's done in Hokusai's actual style. Like from the character in FGO, the base character that this is based off. There's this cool sash off to the side. The rest of her bikini, all these charms on the side here, more sashes along her leg. Beautifully sculpted legs. She's quite slender. Some crazy shoes. And her feet going at an absolutely insane angle. It's kind of nuts. And then just the absolute cluster F that is the obi. There's just everything's going everywhere. It's actually insane, but thanks to the color, you can sort of make it out. It's good at a distance, not so much up close, but you can kind of make out every little bit. And amongst all of that chaos, there's all of these katanas, which is cool. I think she's got 4 katanas. Yeah, there's one down here, and then these 3. Or is that a normal sword? I think that's a normal sword. So she's got 3 katanas and just like this normal sword, just out of nowhere. But we've just got everything going every which way. She's even scraping the floor. The octopus is really well sculpted. All of this is just insane. There's just different designs everywhere. Some really fragile but really cool parts. The octopus has got similar design to Hokusai. They've got the little goggles on the head, little target on the belly. There's this little brush in one of its tentacles. This is really, really fragile, but really, really cool. I like that. I think there's a paintbrushes on her thigh, which is cool. It's a really fragile part, but really cool. See some really nicely sculpted in detail on the hilts of these katanas and swords, and just everything is going everywhere. I could be here all day just trying to pick apart the design, but we don't have all day, unfortunately. But the sculpt is just incredible. This is matching 1-to-1 with the card art from the game, so they had to try and get it as accurate as possible, and it's amazing that they were able to somehow make it work in a 3D space. And so yeah, that looks fantastic, absolutely incredible. Paint. Now, paint is even better than the sculpt. Every little bit is painted immaculately. There's clear plastic with blue around it for the goggles, all the different colors on her hair, all the different detail and paintwork. There's separation between her hair and the accessories. It's very clean. Her face looks fantastic. The expression is nice. These little bulbs on her hair even have markings on them. It's this cool clear plastic, almost like a lantern. All of the bracelets are all detailed. The bikini is very clean. All the skin tone is beautiful. Some great shading. Not a lot of shading, but some great shading. Every single pattern and every single bit of clothing is amazing. The octopus is also very well detailed with all these gold trim all around. The katana going from like this almost like magma, like rocky design that's blue to like an actual magma type of like orange design. Looks so cool. This beautiful like sky blue starry night style of sash here looks so good. More of Hokusai's original design. There's this one that's got like just all these cats on it for some reason. One of the katanas looks like it's all detailed with all these like travel stickers like people would put on like their suitcases. It's so good. The base is beautifully done. It's very simple, but the design is amazing. The hair transitions into like a darker tone right at the end. At least it looks like it does, or it's just a trick of the light. More of that sky blue sash. There's this sort of like fanned out sash, which looks so good. These other flower ones here. There's a checkered one over here. There's this weird ropey looking one there. The design on the back of the octopus. There's more of that travel katana, sort of more regular katana, and then this sword, which almost seems out of place, but it's so cool. Looking at the figure from the back, it's just insane. that they're able to get this to work. It almost looks like a mess, but when you get in closer, you can see all the details. The sheath of this katana looks like octopus suckers. It's just so incredibly done. Like, I've looked at a lot of good figures lately, but in terms of sheer paint work and attention to detail, this is probably the best figure that I've looked at, probably in the history of this channel. It's just like nothing else compares to what was done to make this work, and it's just fantastic. So yeah, any issues I have, probably just this little bit of white just on her hair, which I think I just took off. Okay, there are no issues. The figure is perfect. 10 out of 10. No, the figure is not perfect. While I think the sculpt and everything like that, and the paint is beautiful, amazing, 10 out of 10 for that sort of stuff. Putting it together is a nightmare. It would have been better if it was somehow shipped all as one piece in a much more cautionary box, like it's got a lot more careful, fragile, things like that, because the way that you need to put it together feels like you're going to break it, and I feel like some people will break it putting it together, unfortunately, and it would be such a shame to break this figure. It'd be better if it came in one piece, or even two pieces, just a little bit more solidly done. But what we do have is fantastic. It's just that it is genuinely a pain to put together. Like I said, I still haven't even fully put it together properly, just out of fear of breaking it. But it is absolutely stunning and incredible. It just does have slight niggling issues. I am also worried about the weight distribution on the figure, because everything is very back heavy, but all of the stand is at the front. They are metal pegs, but it is a very thin figure. So I am worried over time. But some of the weight is actually distributed onto the obi itself, but you don't want things dragging on the floor and scratching and things like that. So that is a bit of a concern. I am also concerned about paint transferring. There were a lot of pieces on each of the obis to make sure there were no paint transfers in transit, which is fantastic. But over time on a shelf, who knows what would happen. Hopefully there aren't any issues, but that's something to keep in mind. But overall, it is a pretty fantastic figure. Just before we wrap it up, I will do a quick size comparison. So here's Hokusai next to Pop-Up Parade Kami, and Hokusai is a 1/7 scale figure, and Kami is a Pop-Up Parade, which is around 1/10 scale. Pop-Up Parade paint is not very good, but the Kami is a pretty good one, but generally does not even compare, not even in the same league. Next up is HG Gundam Aerial. HG Gundams are around the same size as Figmas, so about a 1/12 scale figure. And here we have Anya, who is a 1/12 scale figure. It's SH Figuarts Anya. About the same height as a Nendroid, I'd say. So if you had the Nendroid Hokusai, it'd probably make for a nice step-up display. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The figure is just plain stunning. It is fantastic. Absolutely incredible. I am scared to touch it. That is how good this figure is. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video. This isn't going to get me back into FGO, but it makes me appreciate FGO. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time.